Hi, I'm Peggy Ann Saltz at App Promotion Summit in Berlin. I'm here with Eric Garcia from Fixu. Eric, let's start off. What is Fixu? Tell us about it.
So Fixu is a marketing platform with the goal of buying programmatically into the mobile ecosystem, wherever that user and that traffic source is. So whether that's real-time bidding, social, through the APIs, incentivized or a traditional banner, we want to go across the mobile ecosystem and be able to kind of, in a closed-loop way, react to the data that we're getting and redeploy into the marketplace.
I think that's really key because you make a lot of emphasis on data-driven, data-fueled, talking about not exactly your take on programmatic, but your approach to it. Could you fill me in on that?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, programmatic is a way to do machine learning buying. You want to be able to, in an automated way, figure out what a buying decision is worth. You want to be able to execute on that, and you want to be able to feed that information back into your system so that you're able to execute better with every decision that you're making.
Exactly that. So take, for example, I'm an app developer. I'm saying, yes, absolutely, I'm sold on this. I believe in the power of analytics, data-driven. How do I do exactly that? There's part of it is the data I'm collecting. The other is how I'm combining with other data. What advice could you give there?
Yeah, I mean, the best advice I can give is, for your own data, own it. Have the systems capable of collecting that, in your own servers, being able to store and sort that data so that you can use it regardless of the partner that you work with. Then it's about, working with the right partners in order to, figure out kind of what data is available, find data-rich traffic sources, and be able to execute on that using your own first-party data as well as third-party data available.
Your presentation was very interesting because you were also saying if you don't harness this properly, you could be short-selling yourself as well as your users. Give me some detail about that. What do I need to do to get the most value and mileage out of my data, really? I own it, that's one. What else?
I mean, it's really about spending some time to actually analyze it, really figuring out, what are your cohorts that respond the best, not only from a app optimization side, because a lot of people have kind of robust analytics suites to optimize how users interact with their app and their user flow once they're in the app. But it's about marrying that up with the marketing funnel. Where are your users coming from? How do you optimize that piece? And how do you optimize across all of those to marry it together? That does take a lot of time and effort. It's something that some of that has to be done kind of in your own sources. As well as a lot of that's kind of finding the right connections because you're an app development company, you're not an analytics company, and it's important to focus on what's getting you the most valuable for your value for your time.
So we talked about those challenges. Do you have an example of maybe a company that's got it or in a correct direction? Because again, it varies, and we want to leave with some advice here. What would you offer?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of companies that are on the sort of right approach. You look at kind of some of the very sort of analytics-driven companies, like you have your Groupons and your very large companies that are spending a lot of time and effort to make that happen, and they can afford that. There's also a lot of different game developers, both large and small, that have been able to, whether that's themselves or utilizing off-the-shelf technologies or utilizing kind of complete solutions, be able to really figure out how they're going to, develop their app and the direction they're going to go with their marketing.
And the challenge seems to be also understanding the feedback loop. Can you explain that in some more detail on how to tap into that information?
Well, I mean, that ends up being kind of a fundamental piping question of how the how the ecosystem is built. It's just now getting to the point where it can really support truly programmatic buying. You need APIs. You have the APIs in Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
Each of those are either an ads API to create campaigns or a measurement API to understand what happened. In order to have programmatic buying, you need access to both of those pieces, so that you can buy, you can create campaigns and very granular campaigns at large scale, but you also want to be able to measure that, and then you need to have some underlying infrastructure to create that feedback loop and the very real mathematical challenge of what actually happened, because it's not so easy as sort of the perceived conversion rate. What you see happens. It's also about predicting that long-term value. both in terms of predicting the users that are likely to click or convert to install, but also which users are likely to actually, once installed, generate that sort of deep ROI over months going down the line.
Well, we talk about the challenges about being granular, owning your own data. Let's talk about the opportunities, particularly looking ahead to the new year. What do you see out there as the trends or opportunities that should be top of mind with app developers and people with their own apps?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, as I was saying about the industry maturing to the point where they can finally execute in a programmatic way. There's kind of traditionally been some places where you can, execute within a source. Facebook's a classic example of, they were very early in providing this robust PMD, preferred marketing developer ecosystem that specialized in just building tools to buy programmatically in that. Now you see the same thing developing for Twitter now that they have their new mobile app promotion product. But it's going to be expanding beyond that, being able to buy into those sources, buy really effectively into real-time bidding, and then create a programmatic layer that mediates how you buy across those different sources. Because ultimately, the app developer doesn't care what they're getting out of one source. They want to know what is the next most efficient dollar I can spend in mobile app marketing. You want to be able to find that, and you want to be able to execute against that.
And so looking ahead to the roadmap of Fixu, what is it about facilitating that layer?
Yeah, we're trying to focus on going across the whole ecosystem. Now that there are all of these APIs available, and it's not just in Facebook and Twitter and real-time bidding, but also more traditional ad networks are starting to build out those programmatic capabilities to allow their partners to really effectively buy in, understand, how to buy in a programmatic way when you're going into video, when you're going into, banner and kind of more in-depth, creative units and buying opportunities. So that's what we're really focused on, is being able to cover the marketplace and really get the most efficiency and scale, out of whatever's available.
And with the focus on data in the new year and being a data-driven company, probably playing very much in your favor.
Oh, yes.
Of course. Thank you. At App Promotion Summit, I'm Peggy Ann Saltz.